So hello, and welcome to another Legends of Runeterra video. My name is Chris, and today we have some new cards. I sound Welsh, but here we go. 5 cards, all Targon, and we have a keyword that I don't know what it does, so I'm going to have to look at that afterwards. But anyway, we have a 1 mana 1/2 that says Fated. We'll see what that does. I have no idea yet. Let's go through the cards that I might be able to evaluate. A 3 mana 3/3 Ayula. Play, give an ally spell shield and overwhelm this round. Ooh, interesting card. The only problem with this, and we've seen it with others as well, is, there's no it's a 3 mana card that you can't play on turn 3 because there's no 2 mana card that you would be like, oh yeah, this is a really good time to give an ally spell shield and overwhelm. And that's always kind of been a problem with these kind of cards. Like, we've seen it with the, what's it called? The Crystal Ibex, I think, that even grants an ally overwhelm. But I think the problem is it's a 4 mana card, and if it was just a little later, this is the kind of thing you want on like a 6 mana card, maybe, so that it could combo with something like Vi. If this was a 6 mana 6/6 that did this, then we could start talking, because then you can really start thinking about, okay, well, I'll play Vi on 5 and play that on 6, and then I'm probably going to win the game. The problem with it being 3 mana is, you cannot play it on turn 3, and you really only want to play this on attacking turns as well, which is kind of a big downside as well. So I don't know, unless there's some like combo that I don't know about, or that makes a lot of sense, I don't think Ayula will be seeing too much play. Then we come to Blinded Mystic, which is a 4 mana 3/2. Play, grant an ally 1/1 and silence an enemy follower. I'm not a massive fan of silencing effects in general, but this looks pretty good. Maybe even better than pretty good. Maybe even really quite good. 4 mana 3/2 that silences an enemy follower. I mean, it is only silence, but still, that can be, I don't know. This feels like a card that will probably be okay. The fact that it's only followers, this is probably going to be a meta-dependent card. If there's a lot of things that need silencing in the game, then this will be a good card. If there's a lot of like lecturing yodels or ongoing effects from cards that see play, say Sony Suppressor for whatever reason became like a meta, like defining card, then this card would see play. But I think that it is going to be specific. Then we come to Wounded White Flame, which is a 3 mana 2/4 dragon with Fury and Fated. We'll find out what that does in a second, don't worry. And We Stand Together, which is a 3 mana burst speed, give 2 allies +1/+2 this round. Unfortunately, the problem with these kind of effects, we've seen a lot of bad combat tricks in Targon, and this one isn't horrific, but the problem is the fact that you need to have 2 allies to, get full value from it is always going to be a bit of a problem. Like, it's fine, but I think you'll probably have better options. Most of the premium combat tricks in the game are just doing more than this, so I think you'll probably stick to them rather than We Stand Together. And now let's try and find out what Fated does. Okay, so here we go. After some waiting, a lot of waiting, we get the keyword Fated. The first time each round an ally card targets me, grant me +1/+1. The first time each round an ally card targets me, so it's only once per round. And obviously, I mean, this has some uses, right? This has some uses. I'm not too sure about the 1 mana one, but the dragon and perhaps others that have with it. Obviously, gems come to mind. A gem giving you +2/+1 for 1 mana. That's pretty good. That's worthy of something. Even at focus speed. And then the fact that, a Pale Cascade gives you +2/+2. That's pretty good. As I say, I'm not too sure about the 1 mana card, just because the 1 mana 1/2. I'm not too sure about that one. But it's good. It's good for a couple of reasons, and I like this for a couple of reasons. One is that I don't like most of the Targon champions, but one that I actually don't mind is Taric. And this is good for Taric, because if a lot of units get the word Fated on them, those cards go directly into Taric decks. They fit wonderfully. They're perfect. Everything goes swimmingly well for Taric, which I like. Good. Number 2, it's a keyword that is very flexible, which is good as well. You can, every region pretty much, maybe not like Bandle City or Bilgewater, but every other region, has some options to target their own units. And those regions do as well, but you know, they're maybe not as good. They're not primary concerns, but you know, there are things that you can do, and especially within Targon, there's plenty of different things. As I mentioned, gems, so that is all pretty good. I quite like that as a keyword, the fact that you can, you know, probably buff your units pretty quick, and especially with Fury on this dragon, I think that makes it probably a dragon that will get into the dragon stack. The fact that it's 3 mana as well, you know, is there a 3 mana dragon now? I can't even remember, but you know, there wasn't for a long time. And so that probably maybe gets it in there on that basis alone. The only problem with this, though, that I'm thinking about is that this doesn't kill the dragon chows, which is quite funny. I don't know if that's a problem. I don't know the wording on dragon chow itself, but yeah, this keyword is quite interesting, and I like it. I like that it's flexible, and I like that it fits with certain champions like Tarek, who might get better because this keyword exists. So I'm all for that. So now we can kind of review these units and give them some scores. So Saga Seeker, as I said, I don't think just the 1 mana unit with this, especially starting out as a 1/2. If it was a 2/1, maybe I could see it a bit more, but a 1/2 has historically been pretty bad, and I don't think just having this keyword makes it worth it. So this is probably like a 4, 4.5, something like that. Ayula, as I said, is a good ability, just at the wrong time. Which is a real shame. You know, that is a real shame. And so I think that, again, that probably means that, you know, it will end up as like a 5 out of 10. Like, good ability, just wrong time. Blinded Mystic, I think, is probably the best card here. Again, it is a bit of a meta-dependent card, but at least this card, you can pretty much guarantee you'll get some use out of it, I would have thought. And it could be, you know, in some games it'll be really good. You know, you come up against Curious Shellfolk or something like that. You know, this will be, you know, this is the card that you're looking for. So this is probably like a 6, maybe 6.5, but has the potential to be like an 8 or a 9. You know, it can win you games. This card can win you games, and so it's always somewhat going to be useful in certain decks, perhaps in certain times, certain metas. Wounded White Flame. As I said, probably good enough to get into the Dragon's deck, I would have thought. And, you know, Fury and Fated is a pretty good keyword combination. You know, there might be some other things that you can do with this as well. So, a decent card. I don't think anything crazy. Again, probably only like a 6, maybe a 6.5. You know, nothing too crazy, but a decent card. And We Stand Together, I just don't think... I just don't like 3 mana for this effect. I think it's just a bit too much. So I'm going to give this a 4.5 out of 10 for We Stand Together. And that's all the cards for today. Interesting thing to note, and I think this is probably the most important point of it all, is this could mean that we're going to get a Bandle Targon champion and a Targon champion. And we already know that we're getting Kennen and Ari. So that could mean that we only end up with really 2 decks, which I'd be a bit disappointed about. Kennen we've seen, and he is somewhat flexible. You know, you can do things with Kennen outside of perhaps what his intended synergy is. So I hope that the rest of the champions are kind of like that as well, but we shall see. And with that said, thank you so much for watching, and have a really nice day.